Welcome everybody to another episode of Heart Mind Alchemy Live. And I'm very excited today for a returning special guest, Martin Jones. Welcome, Martin.
Hi, Holly. Lovely to be here.
It's so great to have you back. Martin was here many months ago where he shared his beautiful technique of holographic breathing with me and the audience. Martin is going to share his story in a minute, but developed this technique after some of his own personal journey, and this came to him, and I've had the great honor of joining in his sessions over the past few months and have truly found them to be very deep, shall we say, from exploration of the inner landscape and inner world. And so I'm really excited that you're back here to share this technique with our guests. And we're going to do something a little different today. I'm going to be recording my brainwaves with the Muse headband because Martin is really interested to see how his holographic breathing techniques affects brainwaves in the brain. And with my background, I'm super interested as well in that same thing. So we'll be sharing about, I'll be recording brainwaves and then sharing my brainwaves from the session after that. Yeah, so with that, I'm gonna hand it over to Martin. And Martin, why don't you just start by telling us a little bit about your story and where you came from?
All right. Well, hi, Holly, and hi, everyone. I'm not going to go into my story too much, but basically, I have a long time in the healing profession since the late 70s, really. But in kind of the late 90s, I got a tick bite and Lyme disease, and I didn't even know what it was. And I ended up pretty well bedridden. And I was kind of going to die. And at that point, holographic breathing came through, the new way of breathing. And I used that to heal myself. If you want to see the whole story, there's videos on my website where you can see that. It is quite a good story. The website is holographic-breathing.com. So that is all there if you want to see it. But for the last 20 years, I've been working with holographic breathing in different ways, and it opens up a whole healing modality. It's not just breathing, it just seems to interface with all of the other healing modalities, especially craniosacral therapy. There's there's a motion to holographic breathing. So you start doing this wave-like motion, starts moving through the body, and the bones of the face and cranium start moving. You feel every cell starts breathing. And the motion of the bones and all the different things are the same as it happens in cranial osteopathy and craniosacral therapy. So there's a lot of parallels there, and also to a Tibetan healing system called Tibetan pulsing, like the energy systems are very similar, and to Ayurvedic medicine. I was talking about it and showing an Ayurvedic medicine teacher the different energies that come about in holographic breathing. He said, "You're teaching Ayurvedic medicine." So there's lots of similarities all over the place, but it's a breath work that opens up healing modalities and a holographic reality within yourself, and connecting to the earth and connecting to the higher energies. So I'm going to be teaching that today. We'll be going through some different levels, like deeper in the body, higher in the body, connecting to the higher self, connecting to the earth, and see if that shows up any different kind of wavelengths or whatever it is. I don't have one of these machines, but whatever shows on these machines, if it changes that, is when we move from working lower in the body to working with the brain, whether the actual brain wavelengths change when we do that. So that is what I'm looking to do, and I'll teach holographic breathing. Shall I go into that now and just start explaining that, how to do holographic breathing?
Yes, absolutely. I think that would be great. And I just want to add that one of the things that you really taught me, and as you're describing, was the way that the body is holographic and the universe is holographic, and that the systems are replicated throughout the body. You know, that the systems of the whole body are replicated in the head and the jaw, and I know the feet. And so it's just I really learned a lot from you in working with you on this, and so I'm just excited about that in particular, to share the way that it's connected. So we have a user coming in, and I'd like to invite him in. Is that okay with you, Martin, since we haven't started yet?
Yeah, it's okay.
So Tony, welcome, if you can hear us. We're just getting started, and Martin's explaining holographic breathing.
Okay.
Go ahead, Martin.
All right. So hi, Tony, as well. I also run, if you want to take this further, there are free webinars every month, and there's also webinars every Sunday. We're going to it in much more depth. The next free one, where we're working with the cranial fluid and the whole cranial system, I think it's the 14th of November, but they're there every month if you so wish. So let's just start with learning holographic breathing, and I'm going to give a description of it. Well, I'll give a short description first. To do holographic breathing, the lips are closed full of mouth, and the breath is through the nose, and it's good to just start with that. So if you're watching that, even though I'm going to be describing what we're going to be doing, just get used to having your lips relaxed and closed and the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Now, it's not the tip of the tongue, it's the flat of the tongue. And it's important that it's comfortable. So as much as the tongue as feels comfortable on the roof of the mouth. So it may be ½ an inch, it may be the whole inch, a whole inch, maybe the whole tongue. And the tip of the tongue is close to or touching the front teeth. Over a period of time, the tongue will get more and more relaxed. I'm not talking about through the session, I'm talking about months. It'll get softer and softer and larger and just spread across the whole roof mouth and join up all of the different energy systems. But to start off with, it's important that it's relaxed. So as much of the tongue on the roof of the mouth as is comfortable. Now, I'm going to describe what goes along with that, but I don't want you to start doing that yet, because it's nice to bring that in a particular way through some exercise we can do. I'm going to take my headphones off. If something goes wrong, you'll have to just wave at me so that I know. Is my sound loud enough? Yeah, I'll just turn it up a little bit because my voice often goes down when I'm teaching the meditation. So the lips are relaxed and closed, the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, the breath is through the nose. And what we'll be learning to do in the meditation along with that, on the in-breath, the jaw is gently opening, and on the out-breath, the jaw is gently closing. And while the jaw, that movement of the jaw is happening, the whole time the lips are closed and the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. And one of the things that quite a few people sometimes say is they come into the meditation, well, how do you move your jaw and keep your lips closed? So you can just try that, just have your lips closed and just bounce your jaw up and down just to see that it's really easy to move your jaw and keep your lips closed. And I will just demonstrate it a little bit so you can get an idea. It's a very small motion jaw. It's about half a finger width, 2 or 3 millimeters, quarter of an inch, small motion of the jaw. So I'll just do a few breaths so you can see it's relaxed and soft. And very, very quickly, when you drop into holographic breathing, there's a whole energy shift and you just drop into kind of quite a deeply relaxed meditative state. I don't know why that just happens. And you'll be learning it with exercises to bring it in, but there's a certain point where it just connects with your normal breathing, and your normal breathing causes the mouth and jaw to move in that way, and then it starts this breath through the face, through the whole brain, and this movement just moves through the whole body. Now, if it feels arduous in any way, it should feel very relaxed, but if it feels arduous in any way, just do the motion smaller, softer, and slower, because it should be easy. And once we've got it going, we will start moving through different areas of the body just to notice what that feels like. And when we're working with the brain, I just want to show you something, because when we will work with the brain, but people think of the brain as a solid thing, but it's actually 90% water, and the cranial fluid in it is 99% water. So it's a bit like a sea, actually. So it's just a picture I once painted of the brain. And you can see all the cells, they're not real, they're joined together by tentacles. This is a ventricle, there's just cranial fluid in there. These are astrocyte cells, this is a neuron, these are capillaries, but it's like, these are more like seaweed floating in a sea, and the sea can move through that. So when we're working with the brain, don't have to visualize it as a solid thing. It can be energetic, and it can just be fluid that flows down through the whole spine, and also flows off through the nerves. So either we'll work with it in the meditation, or we'll do a short meditation afterwards working with that cranial system, see if it opens up on your machines, or Holly's machine now. Are you okay to start now, Holly?
I am. Let me just get my Muse hooked up.
All right. Okay.
My hair back, because it seems to work better if I've got my hair pulled back. So
all right. Brilliant. Okay.
And hang on just a sec. Great, and for those who haven't seen, I will just show, this is what the screen looks like on my monitor. So you can see, can you see that, Martin?
I can see it, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so those are the brainwaves, delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma. Because I'm just sitting here. So I'm gonna start recording, and we can take a look at it afterwards.
Brilliant, brilliant. All right, I'm going to take these off.
And I'll close
And
my
there's,
eyes.
for people learning the first time, I'd be interested to see if there's a change in brave waves. There's a very certain point where you just drop into holographic breathing. It just starts working and you drop into this meditative state. And I think be interested to see if that shows up. Holly already knows holographic breathing, so that won't be there. But there is also, in the exercises, we start off working with the breath related to the jaw, and then we move up to the breath related through the nasal passageways. And that is normally when a new person learns it, drops in to the energies of holographic breathing. I'll be interested, even with Holly, if there's kind of a change of state when we're working with the emphasis in the jaw to more the emphasis in the nose. So anyway, let's, are you ready for the off? Brilliant. All right, closing your eyes. And for Holly, dropping into the holographic breathing, and for everyone else who doesn't know holographic breathing, just breathing in a relaxed way. And we're going to go through some exercises to initiate the holographic breathing. The holographic breathing isn't an exercise. Once it's going, it's like a memory rekindled. It's just like you've already known it. So we're going to bring in some resources first. First of all, saying hello to the earth, sending a smile to the earth, and allowing the earth to say hello back. Notice what that feels like through your body and through your energies. And sending a smile, sending some energy to the higher self and the beneficial energies. Allow the higher self and the beneficial energies to say hello back. Allow yourself to receive from the higher self and the beneficial energies. And asking the earth, the higher self and the beneficial energies to be with you through this whole webinar as your guide and healing resource. And gently breathing, having the lips relaxed and closed, having the tongue on the roof of the mouth. And this stays as this all of the way through. The lips are always closed, the tongue is always on the roof of the mouth, and just become used to that for a little while. Let the tongue become comfortable on the roof of the mouth, the lips relaxed and closed, the breath through the nose. And now just start making some small up-down motions of the jaw, just so that you can feel you can move the jaw and have the lips closed. So just small, bit like chewing in a way, that you can move your jaw and have your lips closed and have the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Okay, and slow those motions down. And then on the next one, as the jaw is opening, allowing the breath to come in through the nose. And as the jaw is closing, allowing the breath to come out through the nose. And as the jaw relaxes open, notice it's a bit like a bellows. As the jaw is relaxing open, it brings the breath in. As the jaw relaxes closed, it lets the breath come out. It starts this little pump, this little bellows. It's a bit like the jaw is orchestrating the breath, or somehow integrated into the breath. As the jaw relaxes open, the breath comes in through the nose. As the jaw relaxes closed, the breath comes out through the nose. The whole time, the tongue is relaxed on the roof of the mouth. The lips are relaxed and closed. The breath is through the nose and the jaw is just moving. The jaw opens, the breath comes in. The jaw closes, the breath comes out. It's important to relax the back of your neck. Relax the back of the head and your whole body, and just become used to that, very gently moving the jaw. And as it opens, the breath comes in, and as it closes, the breath comes out. Now we're going to change the gestalt. Rather than having the emphasis from the jaw, we're going to have the emphasis from the breath and the nose. And as the breath comes in through the nose, the jaw relaxes open. And as the breath comes out through the nose, the jaw relaxes closed. Just a small motion of the jaw, half a finger width. And it's not a visualization, it's a real physical motion. Breathing in, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the jaw relaxes closed. Notice as you become aware of it working from the breath, the whole consciousness changes. It becomes much more relaxed, much more meditative. You may feel it moving through your brain. You may feel it moving at a whole different level through your whole body. As you're breathing out, the teeth are coming together, but they just float together. There's no pressure. They just gently touch, or they stop just short so they don't quite touch. But the jaw doesn't become fixed. It just becomes this relaxed motion. Breathing in, jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the jaw relaxes closed. The lips stay closed all of the time. The tongue stays on the roof of the mouth all of the time. Relaxing the back of your head, relaxing the back of your neck. We're going to start synchronizing that with the body. So as the chest is opening, the jaw opens with it. As the chest is closing, the jaw closes with it. So it just integrates into the breath. Once it's happening, once it's going, you take the emphasis away from the jaw and the body breathes and the jaw just follows along. Breathing in, the abdomen is opening and the jaw gently opens with it. On the out breath, the abdomen is closing and the jaw gently closes with it. Notice how easy it is to breathe with your abdomen once your jaw is moving. Breathing in, the abdomen, jaw gently opens. Breathing out through the abdomen, jaw gently closes. The lips stay relaxed and closed and the tongue stays relaxed on the roof of the mouth. Relaxing the back of your head, relaxing the back of your neck. Notice that in a very subtle way, your whole face has started to breathe, the whole cranium and brain have started to breathe. This commences a whole breath through the whole body, including the face, the cranium, the brain, the neck, and the throat. Notice the whole body opening on the in-breath, the whole body closing on the out-breath. It's as if every cell is opening as you breathe in, and every cell is closing as you breathe out. And also your arms and legs. Notice this subtle opening of the arms as you breathe in, opening with the lungs and the abdomen, breathing out this subtle closing of the arms. And also the legs, breathing in their opening, breathing out their closing. The hands and feet. Notice how you get an access to your whole body, allowing your hands and feet to open. Notice when you become aware of your hands and feet that the energy gets much brighter and that it relates to your brain. The hands and feet are opening and closing. There is an energetic motion of the breath, but there's also the energies that it's activating, and the energies of the hands and feet relate directly into the brain. And you may feel the energy getting much higher when you're working with your hands and feet. Noticing the brain, noticing the hands and feet in this very high energy. Then if you become aware of the arms and legs, it's still quite a high energy, but they kind of start grounding that energy a bit. It relates more to the neck and the spine. The arms and legs ground this higher energy in the brain, but they also relate to the spine and the energies that travel up and down the spine and the kundalini. Feeling the arms and legs breathing. Notice if you can feel a connection to your spine, and especially allowing it to breathe in your cervical vertebrae, in your back of your neck. The arms and legs relate in the skull a lot to the TMJs, where the jaw is joining to the cranium, where the ears are. You can feel the arms and legs, shoulders and hips breathing, and also the TMJs. These relate to each other, and you might feel some bright lights going off in your head as you connect the arms, legs, and TMJs together. This will take that energy into the brain. Gently breathing with the holographic breathing. Feeling the arms, the legs, the release in the TMJs and the release in the brain. When you become aware of them all, you may feel that energy melting in the arms and legs and spine and around the TMJs. And then moving more into the torso, into the abdomen. All the organs in the abdomen. Notice you can drop down right into the pelvis. And feel the pelvis opening and closing in the pelvic floor. Quite a lot of energy traveling through the cervical spine. Let your neck release and relax. And feeling your pelvis breathing. Feeling your chest breathing. Feeling your throat and neck breathing. Notice now that you've become used to the arms and legs breathing. It doesn't really feel like you're doing a full it brings, even though they're thought of as grounding, it connects to the brain and it connects to the earth and universal energies. Really brings a high energy when you include the arms and legs. Feel your neck breathing, your face. Notice this gentle breath through your whole face. And being aware of your brain breathing and allowing it to be energy and allowing it to be a sea. It's mainly water. It's 90% water, and the cranial sea that is the water is 99% water. So it's full of water and the cells are swimming in the water. And if you feel your ears, around your ears, the sides of your cranium opening on the in-breath, closing on the out-breath, it ventilates this cranial sea. And this travels down through the spine and then travels out through the nerves, through the chest, through the abdomen, through the organs, through the pelvis, out through the legs and feet, out through the arms and hands, and from the brain stem out through the face and the whole cranium. Feel the cranial sea moving through your whole body, through every nerve. This ignites the Jhana chakra, the third eye in the center of the brain. It ignites the crown chakra at the top of the head. And as the crown chakra opens, notice you can connect to the higher energies. Your energy can release out into the higher energies, and the higher energies can release down into you. And they can travel through the cranial sea, through the nerves, through the whole body. Healing every cell, every part of you, the jaw, is still gently moving with the holographic breathing. And your hands and feet connecting to the earth, especially the feet connecting to the earth. Letting that energy from the subtle realms, the higher self, travel right through you and let the earth receive the higher energies. Also out through the palms of your hands into the world and the earth. And also allowing the earth energies to rise up through your legs, through your body, through your arms, through your neck and head, and allowing the intelligence of the earth to communicate out into the universe like a beacon. The earth really wants to speak at this time. Allow the earth to send out its message to the universe, to the subtle realms. Will heal you and will communicate into the higher self, subtle realms and universe. Gently breathing with the holographic breathing. Letting your spine melt, especially around between the shoulder blades. Spine feels like it wants to release between the shoulder blades. Okay, we're going to come back in about a minute. Just breathing very gently. And when you feel ready, gently allowing yourself to come back. And when you feel ready, allowing your eyes to open.
I'm getting some kind of a high gamma. It feels like state at the end here, and I just want to be sure to record it.
So just being however you want to be, it's fine.
It's going to take a minute more here. Let me stop the recording. I'm going to show people. Let's see. see how different the brainwaves are from when we started? They're
Yeah.
more synchronized.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's changing a little now as my brain is coming online. But when I started with I wished I would have just showed it to you immediately. It's just everything is synchronized. Everything, all these brainwaves when I came out of that state were just all perfectly synchronized. Wow, Martin, that took me to a very deep place. My deepest gratitude to you. That was wonderful. Curious.
Will your recording show a whole chart of how it was through? Yeah,
it will, and I will. Would you like it if I bring up the chart so you can see?
That would be amazing, because I'm really interested in how that works and the different waves and everything.
Okay.
And I'm interested to see that when we're working with different parts, whether it goes up, changes, or with those different parts, really.
Yeah, so let me bring up Mind Monitor right now. Yeah, I will share my screen and I will show you. And everybody watching. Wait, hold on. It's not the right. Saved. Sorry, I saved it and I have to find the right file.
I mean, you can show it afterwards if it doesn't work. It'd be nice to see it now just to get an idea.
Yeah, hang on just a sec.
But we can still show a picture of it afterwards.
I can get it. Just give me just a sec. Sharing my screen. And so, all right. So,
oh, wow.
There's a graph. This is TP9. So this is the left temporal sensor. And just to give everybody who isn't used to looking at these graphs, so this is alpha, theta, delta, beta, and gamma. So it's very typical for me to have, and many people, for have alpha kind of be that top level. That's the alert, awake brain. And I in particular happen to have a lot of alpha in my brain. And so, but even on this graph, you can see how my alpha kind of gradually increases over time. You see that?
Yeah.
So it's like my alertness was kind of strengthening.
Yeah.
Here's theta. These are those kind of deep brain waves, right? And I've got some nice theta increases here. And then, so this is the thing I'm kind of very interested in. So this is gamma, which is the superconscious brainwave. That's when you get into real synchrony, and you start to get kind of super consciousness where your whole body is in synchrony, then gamma will start to rise. And you can see do you see how gamma, and I said, when I was talking, I said, it feels like there's this gamma rise.
Yeah.
And so sure enough, gamma started to rise and go up. So it was like what it felt like to me was like my whole body and brain was getting into synchrony, and it was like getting really energized. And that's what you can see. To me, that's what this gamma shows. Let's skip over to the right-hand side. So this is TP10. So this is the temporal sensor on the right side as opposed to the left side. And you can see there, interestingly, I don't see that gamma rise as much as we saw it on the left.
Yeah.
But there's like a little bit of theta goes up a little bit. Like we have this nice theta high point here. Yeah, and interestingly, this is a graph of the overall, a histogram, and you can see that left gamma here, kind of as a higher level, which is really interesting. I'm trying to remember. I believe one side is more spatially oriented and one side is more language. And I'm not remembering which. I'll have to look that up, but it looks as though that left side was triggered by perhaps language or perhaps spatial orientation. I feel like spatial is right and language is left center. I feel like the language center is the left. Do you remember or know, Martin, off the top of your head?
Pardon?
Do you know or remember? I believe the right side of the brain is more spatially oriented and the left is more language oriented.
I don't know that side of things.
Okay, so I'll have to look that up, but that would be my guess that's kind of why that's coming up. And then AF7 is the frontal on the left. And do you see how it was like the brain waves looks like they kind of get into synchrony here? Around 11:41, something like that. Yeah, so it's like it took a little bit of time, right? It took about 10 minutes. But after about 10 minutes, it was like the whole frontal brain kind of synchronized here.
Yeah. Amazing. And where it's dropping down from the left-hand side, is that the normal state or is that just the machine starting to work?
That is the normal state. And so that's just activity in my prefrontal cortex decreasing. So kind of the difference between, active, engaged, waking, you and I having a conversation. So
that when we were talking was where it is on the left, and then as we dropped into the meditation, the whole thing comes down.
Exactly. Yep. And then so it comes down and then my brain really quiets and then it starts to synchronize.
And that orange one, that's the gamma.
Correct. That's gamma.
Right, and that really starts off as the highest and almost ends up as the lowest by the end, doesn't it?
Which is really typical for me on my, because that's like that, for me, that's just that incredible quieting of the brain, right?
Brilliant.
There's no thinking, right? I wasn't thinking at all. There was no thought associated at that point. I was just totally absorbed in the meditation.
Wow, look at what's the red one? The red and the mauve really seem
Yeah,
to be
that
doing
is
the dance.
so interesting. So that's delta.
Mm-hmm.
And this is theta. So it's like all of a sudden, this is so cool to see, because again, at about a minute 11:40, that frontal brain goes into this delta theta synchrony.
And the blue one is kind of joining in a little bit on some of those bumps. It's trying to join in a way.
Yep, exactly. But it's also kind of riding up a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah. And even green, you can see green is sort of joining in too, right?
Yeah. And what's the green is the
Beta.
what's the green?
That's green is beta. Yep.
Wow. Oh, beta. And what's beta?
Beta is the range is 13 to 20, something like that. And that's typically like, I explain that to people, is that's your thinking brain. That's, typical thinking activity. So higher frequency activity. It plays an important role, and even low beta training is like the classic common SMR training for sleep, for helping people with sleep and helping people with conditions like ADD and ADHD work on the low beta SMR training. So helping people.
Holographic breathing is great for insomnia, or if you can't sleep.
Really?
A lot of people just can't stay awake through my lectures, so they just go to sleep. But at night, if you do it at night, it's great for sleeping. It really is good. But there is a difference, you see, in the way that I work with holographic breathing, in that we don't try to stop the intellect or get away from the intellect or treat it as a bad thing. There's a certain level of consciousness with the holographic breathing as the face and brain start to breathe.
Yeah.
In a way, the mental activity becomes sharper, but as the energy from the spine goes through the brain, you can no longer, it's a bit like the identity, the intellect, the ego are kind of held in the brain. And as the energy goes through the brain, you drop back from that. And even though the intellect is still there, or the workings of the mind are still there, you're no longer it. You're more watching it than being it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not something we run away from in holographic breathing.
Yeah.
Run away from in holographic breathing. Getting an echo there.
Sorry about that. I pulled up just to see if there were any questions, and I saw that Randy was there. So hello, Randy. Great to have you here. Yeah, I agree. Randy said amazing instruction, and I agree. So thank you so much, Martin. And I'm really excited to see, Randy, if you ended up doing recording, I'd love to see your graphs. Maybe you could share, but I'm really excited just to see some of this basic coherence that just this little test of holographic breathing seems to show. So anybody else who comes along and watches this video, I'll post my graphs to this event, and others who would like to do the technique and post your graphs would love to see them. This was really wonderful to have you here, Martin. And then I know you have an upcoming free webinar for people.
I do have a free webinar, but I would like to try something first with the machine. I'd like to do some breathing where you're just breathing with normal awareness, like Vipassana or anything like that. And then we're going to go into the holographic breathing. There's a very simple way. It'll only take 3 or 4 minutes, and see if the change when we go into holographic breathing shows up on the chart. Is it okay to try that?
Oh yeah, and you mean right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a little bit more time. I probably have about 20 minutes. So
this would take 4 or 5 minutes,
okay.
if that. It's just to get, and I'm just trying to remember how I did it.
We need to record for about 10 minutes in order to get a valid signal. So we can't record.
So it won't show. All right, well, fair enough. But we'll just go through it and you can feel the difference rather than having to record it. And if people have still got their machines going, they can do it then. So let's just try that, closing your eyes and not doing the holographic breathing yet, just breathing normally. And start off by breathing through your mouth, having your mouth open and just breathing in and out through your mouth. Notice what that feels like. So just having your mouth open, breathe. And you may feel your jaw opens a little bit as you breathe in and out anyway, and that may connect you more to your abdomen. Kind of like that in a way. Okay, so then just get used to breathing with your mouth breathing. And now bringing the lips together and also have the teeth touching so the jaw isn't moving. So you know, because people automatically go into holographic breathing now, they know it. But have the lips closed, the jaw is relaxed, but having the teeth touching. Breathing through the nose, notice what that feels like. And then very gently on the next breath, keeping the tongue on the roof of the mouth and the lips closed as you breathe in, gently letting the jaw open. As you breathe out, gently letting the jaw close, and you drop into holographic breathing and notice everything starts changing. You may want to close your eyes. You may feel it getting deeper as the holographic breathing drops in. This whole thing happens and feel the energy moving through your brain, through your body, through your face. This whole different meditative gestalt starts happening as holographic breathing opens. Definitely relax the back of your neck and the back of your head. You can feel that moving bit through your body, through your chest, through the abdomen, through your arms and legs. And it all just kicks into motion. This very deep meditative state just happens as the breath synchronizes and this little movement of the jaw synchronizes with the breath. Letting that go through your brain. Notice how relaxing it feels, how natural it feels, that it's not an exercise, it just is natural, it wants to happen. It's like a memory. Okay, so now that we're coming to the end of the session, let's do a little closing ceremony. Still breathing with the holographic breathing. And sending a thank you to the earth and a thank you to the higher self and beneficial energies. Letting the energy go off love and healing to the earth, for love and healing to the higher self, for love and healing to the beneficial energies. And allowing yourself to be loved and healed. Letting the energies go out to all sentient beings for love and healing. And you are a sentient being, allowing yourself to be loved and healed. And when you feel ready, gently allowing yourself to come back.
It's amazing the difference I love
It's
to.
incredible, isn't it? It's
Mhm.
incredible. You breathe, you know, either in breathing techniques, either you're breathing through your mouth and it feels like that, or you're breathing through the nose and it feels like that. Once you've learned holographic, notice like it's almost, once you know holographic breathing, it's almost impossible to keep the jaw together, but you have the jaw connected, but not tense, so that it does stay still. You have, but as soon it just drops, and that first drop, it's like, oof, this thing
Yeah.
just starts happening through that. It's quite amazing. And that doesn't happen for anyone unless they go through that first initiation to learn hologram. Then ever after that, that is there. It just becomes automatic. Off you go. And it feels so natural. You don't think there's much difference. But if you compare it to the actual different breaths and how quickly it moves in and how quickly everything changes, it's phenomenal, really.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, what I noticed immediately was like my whole body just like opens up, and there's a tingling, there's a like a synchrony that happens with the whole body when the holographic breathing engaged. Have you ever gone into a lab and had you or anybody's brain looked at on holographic breathing? That would be very cool to do.
I don't know how much there is left of my brain after 25 years of Lyme disease.
I think there's plenty, Martin. I've heard your descriptions of holographic breathing, and
I think I tell you what I think. With holographic breathing, you start, I could feel it from the very, what seemed to stave off the Lyme's disease and heal me in the background. Not just that the brain is breathing, but all of the glial cells are breathing in unison with the same way as the cranium. They're all breathe, and that exercising of the brain cells somehow started healing them. And I think this breathing is what we're doing in the womb, and definitely it's like a subtle form of suckling. I think parents who have learned that my newborn baby is breathing in that way. You know, they watch it and see it happening. And if you think about it, as a newborn baby and in the womb, we are just creating a shed load of stem cells. And I think I was able to repair the damage to my brain, because I think, you know, I was about to die. I think, one, I could heal the glial cells by they'd start breathing, they start working, but also it's somehow, I think it was stimulating more stem cell growth. So even the damage there, it was able, rather, it would repair it, but it could grow new in a way.
Yeah.
And if you think of it, that is aging, is your brain cells dying off in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. And you breathe this way all the time now, right? Is that right?
I breathe this way from all the time, from the beginning. Other people learn it and practice it, and that when I taught people to be practitioners, suddenly they started doing it most of the time. But it started for me and never stopped. It was like I'd done it in a past life. And had this client came to me who was far beyond anywhere I was, and he would kind of do a little session, do this little testing after I'd worked with him on healing and say things. And the last session we had, or I gave him, he said, "Oh, you're going to bring through a new form of healing, and it's going to go round the whole world." And he says, "It's something you did in a past life." And he added at the end, he said, "And it wasn't on this planet." So this is alien technology, or
Really?
ET technology.
Love it. ET technology. You could talk to Stephen Greer about that. Yeah, it does feel, it feels ancient, actually. It has a quality of feeling very old to me when I do it.
I feel it that we've always known it and we stopped doing it for some reason, or I tell you what, it just feels to me like the human race has been slowed down in different ways. And if you come to the cranial webinars, I show how the brain is shown in a way in the anatomy books that completely blocks up your whole energy. And I show how the cranial fluids really work, as far as I'm concerned, and also the osteopaths and cranial people I've worked with, that, yeah, you know, it works how you say, not how it's in the book. And you can see the way it's been represented in the books blocks up people's energy, and just viewing it how it really works starts opening up all of those centers. And different things have been holding us back away, like for the female sexuality. You know, they showed the clitoris as about that size until 2006. You know, it wasn't until then that they actually fessed up, said actually it's this great big thing and it makes men's one look stupid. It's like this alien ship. I've got one somewhere, hang on, somewhere around here. Oh, it's gone, it's never there when you want it. I use it when we're working with that thing, just to show the anatomy of the clitoris in that area. But it's this beautiful, you know, that wasn't, they said, oh, it wasn't found scientifically until 2006, you know. And I think we've been stopped moving forwards naturally. And I think at the minute those ties are breaking off. And I think one of the things that is going to move us forwards, you know, there are many, will be holographic breathing. It's kind of coming into its own now. And from your question, I did just start, and I knew it was natural because I would wake up from my sleep and I was doing it in my sleep. Not only was I doing it in my sleep, the different teachers and spiritual energies were showing me how it integrates through the body and the different healing systems. And I think through the daytime, I was just too stubborn to allow them to come in. But in my sleep, I think I'd just open, you know, yeah, come and teach me. I'd wake up and they were still there and I was doing the holographic breathing, you know, right from the very get-go. So I think I did it in a past life. I think I got to the point when I was going to die. And I think rather than die, I just got a whole new lifetime. And everything dropped away at that point. A whole new life started. I kind of got better. Rather than teaching Tai Chi and Tibetan pulsing and cranial sacral therapy, I just taught holographic breathing.
It's really incredible. So, and will you be doing one of those female, love when you do the male female sexual and working with those energies. Will you be doing any of those soon?
Well, we do the different circuits every Sunday, and that every circuit has a different organ related to the sexual energies that rises as the kundalini through the body. And like the fire wave, it's the ovaries, testes, uterus and prostate. That's the fire that rises through that circuit. For the green energies, it's not really an organ, it's the sit bones where you sit down. That's the sexual quality that rises up. The yellow wave is the clitoris and the erectile tissue of the penis. And for the men, and that's also, it's not just you hide the clitoris and the women's sexuality goes down. When you find out that and see how it mirrors the male genitalia, then the whole men can start understanding their genitalia, because for most men, they're just looking at the bit that sticks out. But if you start viewing and being able to feel with the erectile tissue as it moves back through the pelvis, because there, as it's moving through the pelvis, it's mirroring exactly the clitoris. So we work with that in the yellow energies, which is different organs. So that's for that. Then the lung energy circuit, that's the rectum, the sexual qualities of the rectum rising through the body. The blue energies, which is more to do with the kidneys, the adrenals, the bladder, that's the vagina. And in the men, it's everything but the erectile tissue in the penis. It's where the urethra runs and the soft tissue of the penis. And so the women, it's the vagina and the urethra, and for the men it's the urethra and the soft tissue of the penis. Then the higher energies, it's more the sacrum, different areas of the sacrum release through that circuits. So each circuit has its center or its core in the sexual energy that produces. So rather than that energy going out in sex, we utilize it for healing through these different circuits that all end up going through the brain and connecting to the higher self. So we do that every Sunday. We're doing the lung energy circuit at the minute, and we're doing, we just finished the blue energies, and we're just about to start the green. There's 4 organs in each, and we work with the Kundalini, we work with the points. As I say, it's holographic. There's the points for all of them in the arms and legs. There's the energy points for all of them in the torso. There's the energy points for them in the pelvis, in the face, in the cranium. So the energy points break up in a holographic relationship through the body as well. And that's potent work that we do every Sunday. And then every 4th Sunday, I do a free webinar, and I'm showing all of this work. I mean, I lost everything. I lost my home, I lost my money, I was dying, very ill with Lyme's disease, and I ended up living in a van. I'm traveling along the Rich Way, which is this ancient 6,000-year-old pilgrimage route in my van. And because when I did holographic breathing, I experienced it in a completely different way to how I was taught and how it's shown, I started painting it. I did lots of pictures to describe it. And at the end of that, my Kundalini rose, and I ended up in a completely different place. And now it's just come to a point, I'm just starting to teach that. And I feel to do it in free webinars, because the craniosacral therapists are really pleased to get that information, because they've only got the anatomy books which show it in a tied up way. But when they understand the geometry and the dynamics of how I teach it, they think, oh, that's great, because that associates with how you feel it internally, how it feels as one fluid through the whole brain and through the spine. And I show how it travels through the nerves, how it used the myelinating glial cells as rivers to flow out through the nerves. You know, like that, the name, the myelin sheath, just messes everybody up, because you think it's this solid, it's called a rubbery membrane around the nerve fiber. It's nearly all cranial fluid. It's rivers of cranial fluid. If someone with MS had a picture of these rivers of fluids flowing down their nerves rather than a rubbery sheath, or the blood-brain barrier is an image, it completely, people don't know what it is, and it completely divides your whole, so that whole system through language and images has been shafted. And but when I show it in its natural form and how it holographically opens and the energies of it, and everything I say is scientifically backed. I'm not saying anything that's not true. I'm showing the central scientific underlying principles of the fluids of the brain, and with that, how it should work. And then you hold up how it's shown in the books, and it follows not only does it not show any scientific principles, it goes completely against any scientific principles and against nature. And if you want, I've done 3 articles. If you want to picture articles with those paintings, and you can post those with this if you want to, so people can view that material.
I would absolutely love to do that. Yes.
Because you're a scientist, aren't you?
Yeah, my background's in biology, and
well, this is biology. I'd love you to read it and give me your opinion of my findings, whether you think they're total rubbish or not.
I studied animal ecology, so it's a little bit different, but you know, absolutely, I would love to. And
brilliant.
I feel like your work is, you're very undiscovered. I think it's growing, but I mean, how you explain the systems and the level of detail and depth of the different systems, and then combine that in this holographic breathing, which is experiential. You know, people experience it for yourselves, see for yourself if this feels true for you. It sure does for me. And so just really deeply appreciate your wisdom and your willingness to share all of what you do with everyone to improve everyone's lives and lives of humanity. So thank you so deeply, Martin Jones, for all that you do.
Thank you, Holly. I always felt the same. I always felt, you know, when it started and I got it, I was doing this. This is brilliant. And I thought, I'll put this out free on YouTube and everyone will be doing it. I put it out free and no one was doing it. I almost have to force people to do it.
Yeah, well, I don't think you're going to stay hidden for very much longer.
I don't think so. I think it's just a bit before its time.
Yep.
And the last 2 or 3 years with, you know, because it's very hard to teach it as a local thing. Nearly all the people who come are practitioners.
Yeah.
But because I'm teaching it by Zoom, it's like it's gathering all the practitioners from, and they're not breathwork. Well, some of them are breathwork, but it's acupuncturists, craniosacral therapists, osteopaths, chiropractors, body workers, psychologists. It's every profession, is coming together, and I think it's just growing. And I do realize that I'm the messenger, and that maybe it won't be popular in my lifetime, but I think it will be quite popular. But I think all I really realize, the reason I give it all away is because I don't want to come to my death and I haven't given it all out. And that's why I like webinars, because every webinar, it gets turned into a video that is on YouTube. I put the lectures out as a free YouTube thing, and then the meditations of the people who paid for the group. They're not expensive. They're £14 for a 2-hour webinar, strong meditations. Then come my death, that will all just be made public. So then it doesn't get lost, you know, and then other people can take it further in their own way. But I agree, I couldn't understand why it didn't just go global straight away.
Well, you give away everything you do. You're a true bodhisattva at heart. I really honor that in you and appreciate that you just are doing this to share this incredible I'm going to call it technology that you discovered, human technology that you discovered, and with some alien help apparently.
Well, according to him anyway. But I did do that at the beginning. Not only did I travel inside, I traveled off through the universe and was talking to these, and it was interesting to feel these different species, because they're more like bees. They all work together for the common good, whereas we all work separately for no one's good.
Well, we're gradually changing that. I think that's what COVID is about. I think COVID's actually about teaching us how to work together. I mean, you know,
let's hope.
We needed a global pandemic in order to come together to solve these problems globally, you know.
Well, it certainly brought people to my webinars. Suddenly everyone was on Zoom and coming to my webinar. This disease is great. Really worked in my favor.
Well, I do think that Zoom is, I'm connecting with people all over the world. So many of us are here, you know.
It's reminding me of that little brain with all the different centers. That's like the globe, isn't it? And all the different centers of the brain.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah. And our chakra system, as I'm learning now through astrology, is the universe. And we're in sync with the universe. It's incredible. And it's not something you have to believe. You can actually see for yourself, experience it for yourself. Which, for me, that's where it really lies at. Is not another thing to try to believe, because that doesn't work. Then we're caught in the realm of ideas, and ideas is where we get all tangled up. So don't need to believe anything. Just come experience it for yourself and decide for yourself what's true. You know? Yeah,
that's true. That's true. I'm not a bodhisattva, by the way.
I think you are, Martin Jones. All right, I'm gonna leave it there.
You'd have trouble. You'd have trouble convincing some of my friends that I was a bodhisattva. Maybe students might think I'm that, but people I know, just people, they don't think I'm a bodhisattva at all.
You are in my mind, and so everybody should come check out his free webinar next Sunday.
No, the free one is the 14th. I'll post a link when you put this out as a recording, or where if it goes, I'll put in a link to those articles so everybody can read about the brain, and I'll put in a link to the next free webinar where we are working with the myelinating glial cells and how they make capillary. They have this extraordinary sacred geometry and that is in the third article. I do show some of the geometry of the myelinating. They are just gorgeous cells. To call them a fatty membrane is ridiculous. It's just such an insult to these amazing cells.
I love that you're standing for the rights of cells.
Myelinating glial cells deserve not to be a fatty sheath.
All right, well, that's where we left it, was the sacred geometry and myelinating glial cells. I hope everybody here appreciates that you don't get that kind of conversation in other places other than on Heart Mind Alchemy Lab Live. That's awesome. All right, I hope everybody has a fabulous day. Have a fabulous day, Martin. And
you.
Love and blessings to you. Love and blessings to everybody here. All right.
Thank you so much, Holly. It's always gorgeous to see you. You're a real wonderful person. So.
Like